It is your freedom of speech. If I criticize you, it is my intolerance. It's a very nice text. I think I'll pass on a copy to you to read the full text.
But privately tell me who's the anonymous writer.
I still don't know.
I still don't know.
Okay, you can do it privately. Now you.
But it's surely somebody who disagrees with you. So, sir, the question the court was considering is.
राज्यसभा में आधार विधेयक पर चर्चा के दौरान केंद्रीय वित्त मंत्री और सदन के नेता अरुण जेटली और येचुरी में नोकझोंक देखने को मिली। राज्यसभा में बहस के दौरान फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को लेकर असहिष्णुता तक जैसे शब्दों के इस्तेमाल से वार हुआ। सदन के नेता अरुण जेटली ने सीपीआई नेता और सांसद सीताराम येचुरी को करारा जवाब दिया। उन्होंने येचुरी को जवाब देते हुए कहा कि अगर आप मेरी आलोचना करें तो ये आपकी अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी, और अगर मैं आपकी आलोचना करूं तो ये मेरी असहिष्णुता। ये दोहरा मापदंड कैसे चलेगा?
It's going on in order, but then please have a say. The others may also be speaking some sense. You can't have this kind of intellectual arrogance.
No, okay. Let's not argue.
Arrogance.
Yeah.
You are displaying an authoritarian arrogance of not even willing to listen to the other point of view.
Let me, sir. Let me
No, let
now.
him finish. Let the minister finish. Okay.
Let me now just liven Mr. Sitaram Yechuri and his colleagues a little. Somebody has sent me anonymously a few lines which I want to read for his benefit, because these kind of comments from him and his friends keep coming. And this is in the context of a larger debate. I am deviating from the point I was making. And the comment which has been sent to me, I'm sorry, I am deviating from the subject a little. If you criticize me, it is your freedom of speech. If I criticize you, it is my intolerance. It's a very nice text. I think I'll pass on a copy to you to read the full text.
But privately tell me who's the anonymous writer.
I still don't know. I still don't know.
Okay, you can do it privately. Now you.
But it's surely somebody who disagrees with you. So, sir, the question the court was considering is privacy the conflict between those benches in the absence of any law? Is privacy a fundamental right or not? The present bill presupposes and is based on a premise that it's too late in the day to contend that privacy is not a fundamental right. So I do accept that probably privacy is a fundamental right. Now, where do you fit in privacy as a fundamental right? And that is where I want to clear the misconception behind some of the amendments which have also been proposed in this debate which is on. It is contended, and broadly it is now accepted, that privacy is a part of individual liberty. So when Article 21 says, no person shall be deprived of his right of life and liberty without procedure established by law. So let us assume that privacy is a part of liberty, and no person shall be deprived of his privacy without procedure established by law. The underlying point is that privacy is not an absolute right. It's a right even in our constitution, if it's a fundamental right in Article 21, which is subject to a restriction that it can be restricted by a procedure established by law. Now, that procedure established by law obviously has to be a fair, just and reasonable procedure. The case before the Supreme Court is, you have no law, you have not legislated, you have not laid down any guidelines, and you have by an executive fiat created an authority where all the personal data and biometric information will go in. What will that be used for? Is this a fair, just and reasonable procedure? The UPA government, therefore, was well advised to come out with a legislation. They came out with a legislation. The UPA legislation was, and I'll separately deal with the privacy provisions. The UPA legislation was that a UID authority will be created. A UID authority, there'll be a procedure how the authority is created. There'll be a procedure how personal details are taken and the storage of those personal details, the storage of those biometrics, and when can that information be shared and in what manner. That was the UPA law in effect. That law kept on being discussed between committees, etc. The law, unfortunately, could not be passed. What that information will be eventually used for, what is the purpose of that information, that was absent in the UPA law. So there was no detailed chapter in the UPA law. Maybe they thought subsequently by rules and otherwise they could explain what that information will be used for. Now I'm not criticizing that law because since it was the beginning of a thought process that you need the unique identity number and you will use this unique identity number for some purpose. So obviously there were some gaps, and with passage of time that law itself could be improved. The present law in pith and substance is completely different. It borrows the complete idea from the UPA law that you need a unique identity number. And to that extent, I give them all the credit for it. That was an idea which was rightly created. There'll be some personal details, there'll be some core biometric details. Compared to the UPA law, and I'll subsequently show it, demonstrate, there's a very strict procedure. The privacy law is much more tightened. And the core purpose of this law is that both center and state governments give several subsidies to people. There are monetary assistances given, there are cost rebates given, there are subsidies given which are worth thousands and thousands, almost lakhs of crores. Now the purpose of these subsidies is that these have to be quantified amounts given to identifiable sections. If subsidies are given as unquantified amounts to unidentified section, then non-merit people will get the subsidies, the merit will not get it. And from the public exchequer, you will keep spending money, which doesn't go to the targeted people, which goes to the people who don't deserve subsidies. So today, every central government, every state government, in some way or the other is assisting the people by way of subsidies. So you are entitled to take a UID identification, but if you want the benefit of that subsidy, production of the UID identity or any other alternative document is a condition precedent.
Sir, one more. Sorry, Mr. Lindau. I'm only saying we are on a motion of thanks. I mean, sorry, on a, what I've read is an objection on the basis of the rules. This is the content of the bill he's explaining, sir.
Yes, I have to.
So are you allowing the introduction? No. I'm asking him. Are you
allowing the rules? There is no introduction. It's a transmission.
Yeah. So you have ruled.
No.
Ruled on my point of order.
That I already told you.
It's a transmission. It's not an introduction.
Honorable Minister, one minute. See, I have already told you, the position is that the bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha and it is transmitted to us after passing there. So we have to, I am bound to take it up. There is no provision in the rule to object the consideration at this point of time. You could have objected, you can object only when a bill is introduced. in this house, but you cannot, this is not introduced in the, this is introduced there, passed there and transmitted it. So I am bound to allow the,
In which
and
case,
therefore I have called him to move the motion,
No,
to move for consideration.
but
I already called him.
No, I disagree with you on that point. But anyway, I disagree with you according to our own rules.
You can, you can.
I
you
disagree
can.
with you.
That I, no
want that to
problem.
be on record. But since you have permitted now,
Yeah, I have permitted.
also,
I already
my
explained the
only
point.
request through you to the Honourable Minister is to explain also the reasons why this had to be considered
He
as a
will
money
do
bill.
that. Yes.
Why did it have to be considered as a
Yeah.
money bill?
You-
Why are you doing?
If
All
I'm
that you are
entitled,
saying doesn't
interruption
constitute
free.
a money bill.
If
Yeah.
I am entitled an interruption-free right to address the parliament,
You may
I certainly
continue your
meet all
speech
the
on-
questions
yeah,
that Mr.
make
Yachuri
your
has
speech
said.
on introduction, on motion.
Therefore, the nature of this bill is, the core of this bill or the pith and substance of this bill is that government monies are being spent by center and state governments. When you spend that money, in order to ensure that money reaches the right man, you insist on the identity of the person. And the other provisions in the bill are how that identity is going to be determined. Now, 2 or 3 questions which arise, which I may prima facie like to satisfy these honourable members of this House. The first is which Mr. Yachuri raised, because to an unlegislated executive decision, a challenge on Article 21 is pending, the House must suspend its power to legislate. My respectful submission is, it's an unsustainable argument. Parliament will not voluntarily abrogate its authority, it will not surrender or squander its authority, merely because some case is pending in a court.
So the argument of sub judice is not valid. There is nothing called sub judice.
Sub judice on the legislation?
No, that's what I am asking you. You have used that argument so many times. You have used that argument so many times.
Sir,
Matter is sub judice.
Sir, sub judice is an argument which is available